Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today we're going to be looking at the free-to-play first-person shooter, Paladins. About 4 months ago, I put this game at the #1 spot of my top 10 free-to-play Steam games list. However, the backlash in the comments section of that video was insane after I said that Paladins was an extremely well done game, but I basically labeled it a free-to-play Overwatch clone. Here are the offending statements from that video. Now before I start, this game is basically free-to-play Overwatch. While the devs may say that TF2 is the game that gave them the most inspiration, this game takes a lot of inspiration from Overwatch. Now classes, they are no joke, copied straight from Overwatch. It's split into frontline, damage, support, and flank. Assault rifle guy, ninja guy, shield guy, heal girl, so on and so on. And they are relatively easy to pick up and play, and it just goes and copies basically what Overwatch has done in basically every regard. I can say right now that I was 100% wrong, and I'm willing to go and admit that. I didn't do my research on the game, and I just went off my first impressions. The reason why I say this is because I sunk a ton of time into the game over the last couple of days, and I can easily say Paladins is a unique game within the hero shooter genre. While it does have similarities to Overwatch, the way the two games play are fundamentally different, and that's what I want to go and talk about today. Now with that said, why have I started putting more time into the game now rather than before? Well, blame Nuclear Sharkhead and his absolutely addicting videos and all of the other Paladins content creators like Joshino and Archeo that I found from playing Lawbreakers, so a big thanks to them. Let's get right into it, and the first thing I want to dive into is the champions. In the offending video, I straight up labeled Victor as Soldier 76 and Fernando as Reinhardt. If I actually looked into the other champions, I would have said Ruckus as D.Va, Kinessa as Widowmaker, Androxus as Reaper, Lex as McCree, and so on. But saying those things is like judging a book by its front cover. I basically went that if they appear to be the same, they were the same. And in-game, even though their primary fire might be similar, the rest of their kit is different, and thus the way you play the champion is fundamentally different to how you would go and play their quote-unquote Overwatch version. Let's take Fernando, because he's the one everybody talks about. He has a big shield, and therefore he's Reinhardt in anybody that just looks at the game like I did many months ago. Well, to be perfectly honest, that is completely false. Even though the big shield is very similar, Fernando's can't be pulled up and down at will. There is an 8-second cooldown when you go and pull it down. That itself fundamentally changes how you can play Fernando, and that really sums up how the rest of the champs are changed as well. There is very big differences that really can't be seen on the surface. Going further, his dash is not lethal as it can't pin an enemy against the wall, it's simply a quick dash forward. And then his ultimate being the biggest difference maker, a team-wide immunity from damage under 1500. All in all, Fernando is not a champ that can be played super aggressively on the front line, as he lacks the mobility to get out of sticky situations. However, with his massive shield and his team-saving ultimate, he's perfect for soaking up damage for a very long time. Compare him to Reinhardt. Reinhardt is extremely strong on the front line and can set up wombo combos, and if you don't play him that way, you're not playing him right. The same comparative process can be applied to Victor and so on, but in the end it's clear that while they may seem similar on the surface, their actual playstyle is different. Simply, the reason why people go and call Paladins an Overwatch ripoff is because Overwatch got popular first. Even though Paladins was in closed beta and whatnot, Overwatch got popular first, and then Paladins got popular on the Steam, you know, free-to-play section, and then overall, people just went to the assumption, like I did, that it was simply ripping it off. But when you go and look back in the history, and I'll link the Reddit post that one of the developers went and wrote up, and overall, it gives a really in-depth history about the game. And it really goes and clears up a lot of the, a lot of the stigma around the game. And honestly, I completely understand where they're coming from, and hopefully more people can go and understand where they're coming from. Where Overwatch and Paladins, they were basically going and being developed side by side, with each studio completely unaware that the other studio was going and doing, quote unquote, basically the same thing. But with that said, Paladins, High-Res, they tried to go and change some stuff up, but in the end of it, it didn't go in fit. So they stuck to what they were initially developing. Of course, they went and had a look at what Overwatch is doing and said, okay, this is kind of cool, with the eliminations and the kill cams and whatnot. But overall, the initial direction of the game had not changed, even if Overwatch had been announced and released and whatnot, and I think that is very, very good and something more people have to go and realize. Now let's go and talk about the in-game experience, and overall Paladins feels more controlled, I suppose. In Overwatch, it's chaos, massive explosions everywhere, and tons of movement. It's extremely hard, for example, for the spectator to keep up in esports matches. While Paladins can have these chaotic moments, I feel that overall, Paladins plays more like a classical first-person shooter, where the characters are more grounded. Of course you have, Dragoz, etc, but in the end it feels like a game that a player like me, who generally plays military first-person shooters, can really get into. I think a big part of this is due to the out-of-combat healing, which promotes a very aggressive playstyle, but also a playstyle with more poke and, measured aggression at times, going for these calculated fights, and if you know you're going to be losing that fight, you can simply pull out, regroup, and then you can go and try again. But overall, I still don't know how to put this into words, so if anybody can go and help me out in the comment section below, it would definitely be appreciated. I know what I'm feeling, I just don't know how to go and explain, and hopefully somebody will absolutely know what I'm talking about. One thing I said in that initial video was that Paladins was a game that had basically no pay to win, and it seems like that still rings true. Pay $20 for the Founders Pack, which I'm really tempted to do, so please tell me in the comment section below if I should go and do it. And get all of the champions and future champions permanently unlocked. If you don't want to go and pay the money, just play normally and unlock the champions with the credits you get in game, which is great since there is a wide assortment of champions already available for you to go and play. In the end, it's a win-win. Pay a third of the normal cost for a game and get all of the champions, or grind and eventually unlock them all. All in all, it is a very good free-to-play system. Now, before I talk about the stuff I've noticed has changed since the last time I played, I want to go and talk about the frame rate and the graphics. This game is so smooth. Overwatch for some reason gives me a bit of weird FPS drops and some annoying input lag, but Paladins has none of this. It's buttery smooth and I can fully utilize my 144Hz monitor. Now please note, this is on max graphics and the game looks great. Now yes, it does have that cartoony style, but it works as it's super easy to see the champions, and in the end, that's all I really care about. I'm less of a person that cares about the graphics, I care about how the game plays out, and if I can go and see who I'm supposed to be shooting at really easily, I can go and see the objective really easily. Overall, that is a very good thing. I think the combination of these two factors really puts this game in a really good state. The reason why, okay, if you have a kid that doesn't have a good computer but has Steam and wants to go and play a decent game, well, Paladins, here it is, it's a really easy game to go and run. But saying that, it also has, a lot of depth, it looks fantastic, it's buttery smooth for people that like first-person shooters with high frame rates like me, and overall, Paladins is a game that can go and appeal to my competitive side in that regard. Overall, I think it's going to do a lot of good things in both of these regards, and hopefully it keeps it up. Now, the first change I want to go and talk about is the loadout system, and it's an absolute godsend. The thing I hated the most while playing in January was the fact that I had to go and buy these cards individually while in-game, and I honestly had absolutely no idea what I should buy, so I just clicked the random buttons and bought absolute crap. Now with these loadouts, it's way simpler. The default loadouts may not be the most optimal, but it makes the game easy to pick up for beginners, for example the less recoil card for Victor, and introduces a card system in an easy to understand way. Sick job, Hi-Rez. A quick aside, the whole your game is ready thing when you alt tab is so good. It legit helps me so much because I alt tab, I go on Facebook, I'm just not listening, I'm talking to friends on Discord or whatever, and then in the bottom right hand corner, I get a nice loud sound, and overall that goes and alerts me, okay, my game is ready, and then I can go and click accept. Overall, a really good thing that they went and implemented that, and honestly, that should be implemented, in Counter-Strike Global Offensive and League of Legends as well, because this is a really smart idea. All in all, I was very wrong. And it's a shame because I've missed out on a few months of playing this game simply because I was stubborn and I just looked at it from, an hour's or an hour and a half's worth of experience, and I was just like, okay, I played some bot games, I just smashed some people because it's bots and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay, this game's okay, it's pretty fun, it's polished and whatnot, and then there and I just went and said free to play Overwatch. But regardless, I'm super interested in this game and I plan to make more content on this game in the future. Not just because I'm a mostly free-to-play based channel and I like free-to-play games, but because this game is just pure fun and it's completely fair. Over my time going making YouTube videos, I've experienced the depths of the most pay-to-win piece of shit first-person shooters of all time. And Combat Arms being one of them, to be perfectly honest. That game, that's my main game that I do on my channel. And overall, that is just a pay-to-win shitfest. And going the Paladins and seeing that overall, it is a balanced game. It is refreshing. Now, with all of that said, this game is in open beta right now on the PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One, and I don't see this game slowing down anytime soon. There is a solid community, and honestly, I am really enjoying this game right now. You know, my likes of what I play, you know, goes a bit topsy-turvy. I like playing one game, you know, one week, and then another game another week. But regardless, I think that Paladins will become a staple on my channel. Will it be, you know, content every single day? Of course not. But because I'm trying to go and become, you know, more of a variety channel rather than just going focusing on a single game. But with all of that said, I really enjoyed this game. If you want to go and see more content, make sure to go and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to go and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under. Out.